for having me at the ModevTablet conference. It's really exciting to be here. And as mentioned, my name is Jarah Euston. I head up our analytics team at Flurry. If you're not familiar with Flurry, we are a leader in mobile app analytics and advertising. So we are the analytics that developers use to see what's going on in my app, what are people doing, how's my retention, how's my new users, active users, revenue, all those great metrics that you need in order to build a powerful app. And so we track about 350,000 applications, and we see about 1.1 billion devices a month worldwide. So we see a lot of mobile data. I think Flurry has more data on consumers' mobile activity than any other organization in the world. And what I wanted to talk to you guys about today are what's going on in tablets. So really what we're seeing with tablets is tablets are the new home screen. When you're at home, when you want to chill out, when you want to relax, when you want to consume entertainment, you want to play a game, you're on your tablet. And it's a marked difference than when you're on your phone. When you're on your phone, you're in and you're out. You're emailing, you're calling, you're texting, you're messaging, you're on Facebook, you're playing a game, you're waiting in line, you're shopping. When you're on your tablet, you're invested. It's really a lean back experience. I'm ready to consume content, whereas your phone is, I want to be in, I want to be out, I'm bouncing all around. And so what we see is that over the last year, the growth of the US smartphone and tablet installed base has grown by 47%. And for some countries, this would be a paltry number, but think about how far the US has come. It's still growing really quickly. And for tablets, that's really what's driving the growth now. Everybody who wants a smartphone in the US pretty much has one, but not everybody has a tablet yet. And what this map is showing you is the device growth worldwide. And if you look at the orange there, that's 0 to 99% growth. If you look at the yellow and the greens, that's more than 2x, 200% growth. So there's still a ton of opportunity as the world lights up. And you'll notice one thing I want to point out is look at South Korea over here. It's red. It's showing negative growth here. South Korea is essentially the world's first saturated smart device market. Everybody in South Korea has at least one smart device, and what we're seeing is that growth plateauing. So that's kind of the model of where we might be headed. And what we see on mobile is that it increasingly means apps. So this isn't Flurry data, this is some data from Nielsen that shows that only 13% of the time are people on the web on their devices. The rest of the time, 87% of the time, they're in apps. Although I suspect that you guys already know that because you're here. And so if we look at how tablets have grown over the last 2 years, this is a chart showing the growth of iOS and Android tablets as measured by Flurry. And like I said, we see about 1.1 billion devices a month. And the compound annual growth rate, the CAGR of tablet growth since 2011 in June is almost 200%. So tablets are exploding. But what are people doing on tablets, right? What is the impact of a tablet? And it's very different for different operating systems. So tablets obviously dominate iOS. Android tablets are a much smaller share of the Android market. But if you look at this and we look at active users, it's that middle chart. We look at what percentage of active users in terms of devices that are active, that are generating sessions in applications are on tablets, and it's about 20%. So 20% of all of the active devices that we see are tablets, and that number is growing quickly. And so what are people doing on tablets? Well, 30% of the time, people are playing games. So when you go to Starbucks, you go to a coffee shop, and you see somebody like intently tapping on their tablet, they're not working. They're playing a game. And we have the data to prove it. So tablets are really entertainment devices. People are engaged, people are playing, people are consuming. And your phone is a little bit more of a workhorse that's always there to check your email, to do something productive. And you see books and video are the second two categories. So it's really a rich, engaging entertainment experience. So let's take a closer look at iOS. Tablet app usage is greatest here. As we talked about, there's really no category killer for Android. There's no Android device yet that has just broken out from the pack and it's a sexy new thing and everyone's buying it yet. I think that this will come, but it hasn't come yet. And so what we see on iOS is a huge percentage of the time spent by tablet for iOS. So that's about 26% of time spent in total for iOS is on a tablet. And that number is growing. So who's using tablets and where are they using tablets? So this is kind of tough to see. There's a lot of data on this chart. But what this chart is showing you is personas of mobile consumers. So a persona is based on the apps that somebody engages in. So if I'm a fitness enthusiast, I might be checking MyFitnessPal or MapMyFitness or other apps that are related to sports, fitness, and health. And if I engage in those apps 25 times more than the average app user, Flurry's going to put me in the fitness enthusiast persona. So what this is showing you is for people who are value shoppers, who are singles, who have a hip urban lifestyle. I do not think I fall into that category, unfortunately. How is their time spent? Is it geared more towards the iPhone in blue or the iPad in black? And what we find where it shifts more towards the iPad are personas like pet owners, like moms, like casual gamers, home design enthusiasts. These are personas that are a little bit more attached with home-oriented activities. So I'm very focused on home design, I'm a mom, I'm using my tablet for those types of activities. Whereas the value shoppers, the singles, they're on their phone, they're on their go, right? They're using their phone as a tool to do something, to communicate or to shop or to price check, and they're using their phone for that. So what we see is that the activities that are more entertainment-based, that are more home-focused, are really engaged on the tablet. And so here's another way of looking at the different types of applications by application category. And so the iPad commands more time than the phone in apps that are more home-oriented. So we see education heavily indexed towards the iPad. It makes sense, right? Kids love the iPad. Newsstand, I want to read, I want to consume news. I'm going to use my iPad rather than trying to squint on my phone. And again, games. And so another really interesting thing that speaks to this home screen nature of the iPad are the usage patterns by time of day. So what we're looking at here is from 6 a.m. to midnight, how the phone and the iPad compare. And we'll see that the iPad really peaks in that after school, after work, prime time frame. And then it goes down. And so the phone is more for during the day or late at night. But the iPad is really when I'm going to sit down and engage in something. I'm not distracted, I want to relax, I want to consume some content, I want to do something. That's when I pull out my iPad between 7 to 10 p.m. at night. So that's iOS. So let's take a look at Android, because it is a slightly different story. And I think that that's mostly due to the fact that there isn't a singular device that has commanded the attention and the market share that the iPad has for the Android operating system. So if we look at the distribution of time spent by form factor for the Android operating system, only 10% of Android time is spent on a tablet. And there's a lot of folks who are waiting for that killer Android tablet to come out, right? Think of all of the blockbuster apps on iOS that are not even available on Android. We at Flurry, we always look to gaming because gaming has been really the innovators for mobile in terms of creating a great product, in terms of monetizing. And a lot of the top grossing games that have made more money from in-app purchases than any others, aren't even available on Android. And it's not because these gaming companies don't know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing, but there hasn't been a form factor that would really let them replicate that experience yet. It's only 10% of people's time on Android is spent on a tablet. And if we look at the psychographic segments that are more likely to engage on tablets for Android, well, we'll see it's very similar. Pet owners love tablets. Small business owners, parenting and education, moms, some gamers, home design enthusiasts. So it's very similar. So it confirms again that both on Android and on iOS, people who are more home focused are more likely to be engaged on a tablet versus a phone. So if we look again, it's a similar story, right? Even on Android, education, games, communication, they index more on tablets. And this is important as you think about, all right, if I'm a developer and I want to do something big in tablets, am I going to align myself for success, right? Personalization in business and sports really heavily over-index on phone, which tells me if I'm building a sports tablet app, I have to think about something new, because that isn't something that people are using today on their tablets. So it's helpful to have this context as you think about, how am I setting myself up, right? If the entire industry, everybody checks sports scores on their phones, do I want to be building a sports score app for a tablet? Again, if we look at the distribution of day parting, confirms the idea that tablets are really a prime time home device. I'm lounging on my couch, maybe I'm watching TV, maybe I'm not watching TV. Do I need that second TV in my bedroom anymore? I have my tablet. Do we need a TV at all? I think looking at the curve of when people are engaged in tablets is very clear, it's very consistent. No matter what OS you're on, tablets are something that you engage in during prime time. So, these are some high-level stats that I wanted to share with you guys today and really communicate that the tablet, from the data that we see at Flurry, has really shaped up to be the new home screen. That's what you're on when you're at home. I think that over time, there's a question of, will it continue to complement television? Will it replace it? Because what people are doing on their tablets is very similar. They're engaged, they're being entertained, they're playing a game, they're reading, they're consuming. So we have a whole bunch more of these stats. We publish them every other week or so on our blog. So I'd encourage you guys to check it out at blog.flurry.com. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Jarah. Excellent.